Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Bradu. I've been really lax in posting videos, and I feel like I'm behind on it because I've actually been getting some pretty awesome stuff in. Just in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've bought three, four, three, four, five, maybe nice lots of cards, um, and or traded for. I got a couple that were awesome trades too. So I'm gonna go in sort of random order in terms of how I shoot these videos, so it might not make chronological sense if I end up posting them all. In fact, this collection I'm going to show right now, I shot a video the day that I got it, I think, but I'm going to reshoot this in a little bit more organized fashion because I was slowly going through, which might be really neat to see my excitement because it was a pretty nice surprise of a collection. But the background is something like this. I think it was on Offer Up, and I track local, Offer Up, Craigslist, and Facebook Marketplace pretty close. I'm checking multiple times a day, and I don't see hardly anything with actual vintage. And if you do the same, you'll know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, it's hard to tell sometimes what you have. So I wish I had. I've already sorted a lot of the cards from this collection into my collection, so I'm just sort of making up something close. Like all of these cards did not come from the collection, but most of them did. But anyway, one of the pictures looked about like this, or two of the pictures looked about like this, actually. There was, I think, three pictures in the ad. One of them looked kind of like this. There were no sleeves on anything. I put this hard case on alkaline. But there was a picture showing, I don't know, 8 or 10 cards. Some of it was guys I am not familiar with or who aren't big stars, but there was an alkaline showing, and it might have been even this one. And I thought, okay, that's a little promising. And then, and also in one of the pictures, I think I could see a couple of these cards that were from the mid 50s that are a little bit larger. And I'm just getting used to the vintage stuff, so I don't see how they're a little bit larger. Both Bowman and Topps, I think pre 50, up to 56, I think they were a little larger. So as I'm looking at the pictures, I'm like, well, it might have some old stuff. The ad really didn't have a lot of information. It said something kind of like, I don't know anything about these. Looking for an offer. I can't remember if there was a price listed or whatever. At the moment that I saw the ad, I was completely tapped on cash, and I knew that, and I was like, but this looks, at the very least, it looks promising, is what I thought. Oh, by the way, in addition to the pictures that I saw that had a couple cards you could see, there were 2 or 3 boxes about like this, right? Where you could just see cards that looked to be pretty rough shape, but it looked like a stack of cards that was probably vintage. And I said, what years are they from? He goes, I don't know. It looks like mostly 60s or some. He said there's a lot from the 60s. So I was like, well, is there a few from the 60s? And it's mostly going to be 80s. It was really hard to tell from the pictures, but the pictures showed 60s and, like I said, a couple 50s. So, so I offered him $100, which is, in hindsight, is low. At the time, I was thinking, well, even if the K line is the best card in the lot, which it might be. In fact, that was kind of my expectation. I'm thinking $100 for a couple hundred vintage cards is good, and I'll take that chance and hope there's a few more cards like the Al Kaline. That was kind of my hope, and he was like, I'd really like to get a couple hundred, and I was like, I don't blame you, and you're probably right. I'm gonna have a hard enough time coming up with $100, and that is true. I had to ask my wife, "You got money?" Because I don't, and she does not like when I do that. But I think she also trusts my judgment when it comes to stuff like this. So, anyway, she rolled her eyes and came up with $100, and the guy was like, "Okay, I'll do it." sounds good. So I met up with the guy. And it was kind of a funny situation because I really didn't. The only thing I did when I met with the guy is I flipped through like that just to make sure it looked like it was mostly vintage. And as I was flipping through, I saw one of the first things I flipped to was a 1982 Topps card. And I thought, oh shit, there's probably a bunch of 82. And I didn't really see the card, I just saw the design of it. Um, but then the rest seemed old. So I was like, okay, great. So we're driving around, and the cards are sitting in my wife's lap for about an hour as we're doing and running errands and stuff. And I'm tempted to say, like, flip through and tell me a few names, and I just didn't know what to expect. Anyway, let's dig in. I sat down with these cards, and when I started going through them, I was like, wow, it was so much better than I expected. Spoiler alert. So, for starters, there were, like I said, there were 3 boxes about this size, or two to three. It might have been 2. One box one box I've already sorted into my collection, so I'm going to show you the good stuff. But the short version is one of the boxes. Right, well, I'll start right here. One of the boxes was this one. And it wasn't exactly like this. Like I said, I've gone through this collection and kind of sorted. But it truly was vintage. 53 Bowman, black and white. 54 Bowmans. There's a 50. Do I even have my years right? I think. 54 Bowman, Hoyt Wilhelm, Ralph Kiner. I'm like, these are names. These aren't the first couple cards I saw. Stacks of 55 and 56 tops. Slaughter. I have the better ones here. A couple 52s, which I did not see at first. They were one of the last things I found. I was like, oh, there's actually 52s here. That's wild. A good stack of 53 tops. So if you know anything about what I'm showing you, you know that already I've got my money's worth. Just looking at the few cards I just showed you. Even if these are all commons or close to commons in pretty rough shape. 53 tops are pretty nice, and I didn't when I first noticed, like I said, all I could really decipher this is the first time I've had any cards this old. I've got like maybe one card from each of these sets, just sort of randomly, but not enough that I fully recognized what I was looking at. So 53 tops, this is a great set. It's artwork. And I love it. And so I got a good stack of mostly commons, but that's pretty sweet. Real exciting for me. There's a good 100 plus cards here from the 50s, going from 52 tops, a few cards, to tops and Bowman 52 to 56. And some of these are the 55 Bowmans with the old school color TV style. I think color TVs were brand new back then, so I'm not going to flip through each of those cards, but that was one of the boxes alone, and I was like, whoa, this is freaking cool. Like I said, this was not the first thing I saw. I think I had that in order, but I just yanked it out. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Let's take a peek just for fun. I just picked up a new vintage collector today. So 53 tops commons list at $30, 15 for double prints. Now that's Beckett, that's in good shape, yada yada. But even still, like those are nice. Yeah. Anyway, the rest of the cards, for the most part, he was correct, from the 60s. Let me show you that 1982 card right there. There's the one 1982 card that was in here. This is the only card in the whole collection that wasn't 60s, and it's a Cal Ripken rookie. So I was like, oh, that actually turned out okay, too. So let's just dig in. Like I said, my hope was that there were a few cards like that Kiner, not Kiner, Al Kaline. A few cards that are like, star players or even minor stars I would have been happy with. And the short answer is it pretty much was all cards that would have been pulled out from the commons. Some of them were like minor stars, but it was mostly stars. Not necessarily highest end superstars. 61 Fleer. Oh, I guess there was a couple 87 cards from Ralston Purina. A Willie Mays post 63. No, that's not a post. So does that mean it's a jello? A Willie Mays though. Sweet. Bert Campaneris rookie. Phillies rookie. Rick White. Oh, this was one of the first cards I saw that when I just flipped through, I was like, holy shit, a Rod Carew? Like, with the trophy. Even when I saw it, I was pretty sure it wasn't his rookie, even though it's a trophy. It's not. It's his second year card, but even still, great card. Bobby Mercer rookie. Like I said, I put all these sleeves on. Louis Tiant rookie. There turned out to be two of these. I have one in a separate pile here. Danny McClain rookie. I think I have kind of some of the better stuff, or stuff I'm keeping up front maybe. This one threw me when I looked it up. I was surprised to see how high it lists in Beckett. I'll look it up again real quick because I don't remember for sure what it was. But I was like, why is this so high? And then just glancing at the front of the card, I thought, oh, I bet that's the first Japanese player ever to play ball in the major leagues. And sure enough, it says Masanori is the first Japanese player to play in a major league game. 65 to 82. Whoo! It has an up arrow even. $80 is what it lists at. So it's not $80. That means it's probably 20 or 30. But still, like I said, I paid $100 for these, and I feel almost bad about it. But you know, I bid on what I saw and what I could afford at the moment. And it just turned out the collection was a lot better than I thought. Ed Matthews, several of them. K-Lines, several of them. And Ernie Banks. I do not have any Ernie Banks. I have a Banks card, not this one, but something like this where it's not his regular base card with stats until now. And there were Ernie Banks cards in here. I should probably still post that original video because it was probably pretty neat seeing me go, oh my god, holy shit. These are way better than I expected. Several Don Drysdales, Frank Robinsons, Brooks Robinsons. These are almost all cards that I didn't already have as well. Killebrew. Oh yeah. Killebrew. Killebrew. This was actually Mickey Mantle. This was the one Mickey Mantle card in the collection. And it's a leader card. 60 Killebrew. It was almost all 60s. I don't think there were even any 70s. There were the 50s cards I just showed you, and then I think everything else was from the 60s. And if it wasn't common, or if it wasn't star players like the ones I'm showing you now, like the ones I already put in my collection, it's because it was like 59, 60, 61, 62. Some of those were commons, and I think even at commons, as old as they were, they were in with the nicer stuff. There were several Billy Williams cards, Willie Stargels. There were quite a few Ted Williams, but they were all his manager cards. I've got some in another stack here. Tony Perez, Necro. Oh, Nelly, 1960, two different 60 Nelly Foxes. I already showed you the Denny McClain rookie, so that makes this his second or third year. Aparicio Catfish Hunter. Roger Maris, 65. Oh, some sweet leader cards. Koufax, Gibson, Marichal, Perry. That's a great Koufax, Marichal. Great players on these. I have this one backwards. How about this combo? Hank Aaron, Willie Mays. Frank Robinson, Willie Mays. Hank Aaron, Clemente, Richie Allen. Allen's on home run leaders and RBI leaders with Hank Aaron. A Lou Piniella rookie. There was actually two Lou Piniella rookies that really threw me for a loop. I don't know quite what happened here. I'm wondering if he had his 64 rookie card and then didn't play much in the majors, because the other one was one of these rookie stars with multiple players, and it's from 68 or 6. I think it's 69 even. I think it was like 5 years later. So I had pulled out thinking I had two Pinella rookies, and then when I sorted them all, I was like, oh, one of them's like not even close to a rookie. It just says it's a rookie. And this was the best of the 53s. John Mize booked for 150 or so. It's creased. I don't care. Yeah, I was just over the moon. In terms of value for what I spent, this is arguably as good as I've ever done on a collection. And it just threw me. To show these already? Oh, these are duplicates. I think these were all in this collection, and either I already had them or there were two of them in here. So like two Tiant rookies. There were two of these Ted Williams cards, and I already had two because I'm working on this set. Brooks Robinson 70, some more Billy Williams. There were two of this Aaron and Mays card. Yeah, so all of these were duplicates. Like I said, there's two of the Ted Williams. All of those were duplicates. And then this too is the same, but I think what this is duplicates. This might not all be from that collection. I might have pulled out other duplicates and have a little stack here that's separate because it's like these are cards that, but some of these for sure came from this collection. And I think I have them mixed with what I had existing. Like this was not in this collection. This is a card I had already had in my duplicates pile. Rod Carew, did I just have two of those Rod Carews? Yes, I must have one. I must have two duplicates of that card. But like this, Hoyt Wilhelm, this for sure came from this collection. Yes, this came from this collection. This came from this collection. This came from this collection. So there was two of the Aaron and Clementes as well. Anyway, yeah, that was nuts. That was... I was super lucky. The only thing missing, like I said, this to me feels like this was the... I don't know how he got these, what, you know, how they came to be separated the way they were. Obviously, there was more to this collection because it did not have many commons. It was pretty much just star players. But the other thing it did not have was the top high end. Like there was a bunch of 68s, but not a 68 Nolan Ryan. There's a bunch of most every star player, but there were no base Mantle, Mays, Clemente, Hank Aaron. If those guys showed up, they were on leader card. So somebody at one point or other did know what they were doing. This guy, I barely listened to this. He just said like he did. Somebody like paid him in cards and he didn't know anything about him and they didn't know. I don't even know. He said he did some work on somebody's house and they gave him cards because they didn't have enough money to pay him or something weird. It's like, okay. So that's why he didn't know what he had, but he was like, they look old. And I was like, yeah, they are old. He said he looked up a couple cards on eBay. This is when I met him to pick them up. He said, I looked up a couple cards on eBay and I couldn't make sense of it. Which I get because I'm like, condition is everything, right? You might see the same card and see one that's a PSA 6 selling for hundreds of dollars. And he's going, yeah, this one's not graded. This looks more like this one over here. That's $5, you know. The other thing, though, about these, by and large, the ones from the 60s were in really nice shape. I didn't talk about that or show that at all in the videos. But anyway, that was a really good little collection I picked up 2 or 3 weeks ago. And on to the next one. So that really, really helped my vintage collection. As far as 50s and 60s, other than the 61 set that I've been trying to put together, I do not have really any 50s. That box is about 95% of my 50s cards right now. And I really didn't have many stars from the 60s. I had some rookie cards because I've been collecting rookie cards a little longer. But I didn't have, like I said, any Banks cards. And I only had a couple of Al Kaline or Brooks Robinson or whoever. So that was just phenomenal. I was super pumped. Alright. I'll be right back with another video, though. You don't know that because I'm going to post them in who knows what order when they go on my page.